Hey, how's it going? I'm the Zim. This is the Zim video, and this is volume 3, part 8 of my rideshare experience video series. I've been a rideshare driver since February 2nd, 2017, and as of recording this video, I've done 11,122 rides with Lyft. But as you can see in the thumbnail this week, there's a new icon. It's Uber. We're going to talk about that in a little bit as well. So, thanks for subscribing to the channel. You can do it with the pop-up on the screen depending on what you're on, or just scroll down and you can find the subscribe button on the page itself, and do it up for me. Thanks a lot. Trying to go for 100,000 subscribers. Will I get there? We can look back on these videos in 100 years from now and go, he made it finally to 100,000 subscribers. Anyways, let's get on with the show, shall we? Just been recording my rideshare experience since I started driving, and this is it. This is the show. So thanks a lot for joining. Got a lot to get to today. I said crappy sound. So I've been noticing how bad my sound is. I'm gonna eventually do something about the sound. Get a microphone or something that works for the camera. But until that time comes, thanks for bearing with me and watching the show anyway. Alright, here we go. How much I made. This is how much I made this week. So in my deposit, I got $1,015.08. Plus, in my heads-up display, it says $13 more in cash tips. So I got 13 more. So $1,028.08, which I worked just shy of 44 app hours. And then, so that brought me to $23.38 per app hour. I did 123 rides, which qualified me for my ride challenge bonus, which I'm going to talk a little bit more about ride challenge bonus in a little bit. Also got, so tips this week, total tips were, says $132.80. So more than my $1 per ride average, which is what I hope to make every week, an average of $1 per ride. So that's it. Oh, and then let's look at, this is the daily breakdown. So what I did each day, Wednesday through Sundays is my typical shift that I drive, the times that I drive. So yeah, it says it's pretty good. It was alright. The notable events in terms of rides this week, Wednesday, for some reason, I wasn't feeling it. I was like having trouble Wednesday just personally, and so I only got like 14 rides in. Yeah, I only got 14 rides in because that put me 10 behind on my average for the week, because I like to do 24 on the first Wednesday and Thursday. This is what I typically do. I try to go, it's like 24, 25 rides a day is typically what I try to do, but I try to go, actually I kind of adjusted a little bit. I go 24 Wednesday, 24 Thursday, 26 or more on Friday and Saturday each day, and then so that Sunday comes, so I'm around 20 or less rides. This Sunday it was 23 rides, but so Wednesday just wasn't feeling it. I think combination of the weather being kind of bad, I personally wasn't feeling all that great, just kind of like whatever. Only got 14 rides, and I was like, just going home. I'm going home. I'm not dealing. Thursday was fine, and then one day, I believe it was Saturday. Saturday there was this women's march in, I think, all around the country, but there was one in San Diego as well, and that really had actually noticeably, like oftentimes when there's an event that happens, I don't typically do a lot for the event, but I get more rides to other things because the event's drawing drivers. But this particular week, I drove like a bunch of people that were related to the Women's March all day, back and forth. But they turned out to be, like, it was probably, I did 31 rides, and I made not that much money for 31 rides. That could have easily been my worst average in terms of amount of rides and money day, because it was like, I did pretty bad. I did like I think just right around $150 for 31 rides, which is pretty bad. It's just pretty bad for that many rides. But it got my rides in quick, so I got to my, it helped me catch up, so that by Sunday, I was, I only needed like 23 rides. I needed 23 rides on Sunday, so I was able to get them, and then I got my bonus. As you see, it says a little bit more, 300 and some dollars on Sunday. So yeah, that's kind of how the week played out. Yeah, Sunday was pretty good. It paced pretty well. Didn't take me too long to get all my rides in. But alright, so that's it for what I made this week. A little rideshare experience about how I made my money this week. If you have any questions about my money stuff, let me know. Also, forgot to mention, they finally fixed the, as you saw, let's just go back to the last slide of the, my deposit. And it actually says 123 rides. So for a while, it's been not accurate. It's not been the 123 rides, and they finally figured it out, and so now it says 123 rides on there, even though that's what I was making. That's how many rides I do. I personally believe it wasn't tracking shared rides correctly, so it would only count it as like one ride on that screen. But anyways, it doesn't really matter now. But they finally fixed it. So, and I noticed it's retro. I went back into my older weeks on the Lyft, desktop, whatever web portal, and it's fixed. It's fixed. It's like, so anyways, there you know. Now you know that's what's going on. Anyways, enough with that stuff. Let's get on to the shoutouts and mail time section of the show. This is the fun part where you submit some questions in random places. Let's put up the shot of where you can submit. It's at RideshareZim on Instagram, _Zim@hotmail.com. I've only got one person has sent me an email. But then on comments on this channel. So I go through where people ask me questions, and it's not, oftentimes they don't even know I'm going to be using it as a question for the show. But especially on Instagram, I don't think many of the people on Instagram know that I use it for the show. They just ask me questions about things. So, and it works out. It's something fun. So here we go. Some shoutouts first. Shoutouts are just people that I haven't ever seen engage with this channel, in comments for the rideshare shows, and I like to give them a thanks for finding me kind of thing. So Jay Veteran, No Limits Rideshare, thanks guys for the comments. Thanks. All right, so here we go. Let's get into the first question for the day. And this one comes from Instagram. It's Mark, I guess MRKBRYZEN. It says, I want to know your game plan every day. Do you have a home base after a drop off, or you stay waiting for another ride? Thank you. Okay, yeah. So it's pretty simple. What I like to do in San Diego, I use University Heights as my main kind of place I always go back to. And so that's what I do. Whenever I'm out there, I basically get up in the morning, I get in my car, I go get gas, I turn the app on, I drive toward University Heights. I often get a ride while I'm on my way there. So once you get your first ride, it's like all bets are off. You can end up anywhere. So when I go wherever I am, I just strategically make my way back to University Heights. That's I call it my epicenter. So I always head back to University Heights. If I make it back to University Heights, I just pull over at that time these days. I just pull over and I read a book, which I'm going to talk about more in a minute too. I've been reading a lot more lately, so that's what I do. Or I, put on a YouTube video, or I don't know, listen to a podcast that I've been, or continue to listen to whatever I'm listening to on the radio or podcasts or music. But I just pull over and just wait for a ride in University Heights, because that's where I found is really good for me in San Diego. I usually don't have to wait long. If I end up waiting over like 10 minutes, I'll just do a loop in the area and then come back, basically. And usually I get a ride. Usually when I'm waiting and I'm like, I can't wait any longer, and I start to move on, that's when I get my ride request. But yeah, so hope that answers your question. I just try to when I say strategically go back, I just try to go through neighborhoods usually that I think I might get a ride out of. Like, I don't know, just I try to go routes that might be more prone to getting rides. I've noticed in San Diego here, there's a couple, like if I'm far away, there's a couple freeways and highway or freeways that can take me back to University Heights. And if I want to get back to University Heights quickly, there's freeways that are better than others for getting rides off the freeway. So maybe be aware of that in your area too. Maybe there's ways you can do that. I don't know. So anyways, I've gone into lots of detail about my strategy in previous videos, so go to my playlist and find strategy and different things, how to make money and all this stuff, San Diego, and you can do some more research if you're interested, or just ask me another question. I'll answer it next time. Alright, next up we have, this comes from Instagram as well, EMCZY0421. Try 12 hours online time. Let's see how much you can earn. So, no. basically that I've come to this point where so here's the struggle. This is one of the main struggles for me with this job is, you know, there's more money out there. If you're, it's like, especially if you're like me and you know, like, I make an average of this much per day, I work this, if I was able to work 7 days a week, I could make 2 more days worth of money, and I'd know exactly how much more. I would make like $300 more a week because I could work 2 more days. But unfortunately for me, doing this full time, I have to pace myself. I have to find ways of limiting myself, because that's my problem. That's my struggle. Maybe other people don't have this problem, but I overwork myself way too often. So I need to draw lines and go like, no, this is what I need to do. I need to stop at this point and take breaks, take my days off. So that's why I take 2 days off a week. I find for me it's better to do them back to back. And the same thing with hours per day. It's like I've noticed that my body just starts to get weird feeling if I start to get into the 11 app hour range. And I'm just like, just gonna, and then trying to sustain that for a whole week just couldn't happen. So I just burned myself out, and then I can't even drive the next week. So I will probably, never really work 12 hours a day, app time. So yeah, so it's better for me to find, I found a good pace. You've seen me talk about it over the last year and a half or whatever of these videos. Basically, I have my schedule, my split shift. I work, it comes to usually about 9 to 10 app hours a day, and that's good. And if it takes me longer than that, I'm just like, hopefully I'll pick it up. The rides I need, if I didn't make all my rides, I'll pick them up later. But yeah, I don't see myself working more than, what I've been doing. And it's frustrating. It's massively frustrating, because I just know if I didn't need sleep, or if I didn't need my body to rest, I could be rolling in it because I just work all the time. But I personally can't do that. I've seen other drivers do it. But I also think, I have a theory that all these drivers that say like they work massive hours, and you see like every once in a while they show up on user groups and things, they post their stuff. I have a feeling they don't do that week after week after week after week like I do with my shift. I think they do it for like 2 weeks and then take a week off, or 2 weeks off, or whatever. It's like they just, so I don't know. To me, I like the idea of working a consistent pace, sustainable way, rather than just trying to like potentially burn myself out. So that's just my thing. But thanks for the question, EMCZY0421. All right. So next up, another one from Instagram. We have this one came by way of _Violet. So she says, hi, I'm starting driving Lyft in Jersey to make money since the government is shut down. Sorry about that whole thing. We don't need to get into politics here today, but I hope they figure it out. I started driving yesterday and I find it a bit overwhelming. Do you have any advice on how to make at least $900 to $1,000 a week? And well, first off, I can't speak for New Jersey. Obviously, I live in San Diego. I have no idea whatsoever the New Jersey kind of like rhythm is, like when people are out doing things. However, I do feel pretty strongly like I figured out a good baseline of a concept, and that concept that I've talked about before is the density, demographics, and attractions, and hopefully they're together. Like, you want all those 3 things to be kind of close together, I believe. So let me just break it down real quick, but you can also watch older videos. I've talked about this again on my strategies and different videos, so just go through the other older videos. I wish I had cataloged my videos better, but Unfortunately, I haven't. So, density, you know, make sure there's lots of people. Apartments, you want lots of apartments, not houses. You don't want to be in a residential area with houses. You want to be in a residential-ish area with apartments. You want it to be the right demographics, so you don't want it to be too rich or too poor. If they're too rich, they don't really use the service, or at least not just the basic Lyft. Maybe they use, or Uber, maybe they use like the Lux one, or the, you know, the premium one. But it's just, there's just still not as many people requesting rides, because you only got one family per household, whereas in an apartment you have like multiple families per place. So that's the thing. And then also, if it's too poor, same thing. They feel like they can't even afford to use it as well. So they'll be taking the bus and doing other things and trying to get around other ways. So you want to be, you know, college students. You want to be, you know, middle income. You know, young professionals. Different things like that. So look at the density and demographics, and then also attractions. Like, hopefully, your apartments or whatever can be close to a shopping area. Grocery stores, you know, mall-ish type thing. Something that brings other people out that will eventually need rides away from as well. So those are the three things. I think in any city, you could probably find a spot like that. So that's what I would say, no matter where you are. So if you're in New Jersey, look for a lot of density, the right demographics, and attractions that will bring people in and out of that area all day long. Great. Use it as your little hub, as your home base, and then you can go from there. But yeah, sound good? Cool. All right. So one more question from you guys. This one comes from, let's see here. Got it. It's from Fred Peifel Jr. Thanks, Fred, for sending in this comment on the YouTube. This one comes from YouTube. It says, I wanted to ask about the person that gave you 1 star. I know if the driver rates a passenger 3 stars or less, you'll never be paired with them again. Does it work the same way if rider rates you low, meaning you won't ever be paired up with the passenger again? Thanks, have a great week. Yes, I mean, this was one of the things they tell us in the orientation and whatnot of Lyft and stuff. But yeah, if you're, either way, it goes both ways. If you're paired with, or if you rate somebody 3 stars or less, you won't be paired with them again. So this is how I use it. I don't rate many people below, I mean, most of all my rides are 5 stars. I don't think I've ever rated anyone 4 stars, because what's the point? I've always been like, so back in the day, I'm just remembering as well, when I started, I always wanted a yes or no situation rather than a rating situation. It's like, would you or would you not be willing to ride with this person again? Yes or no? There's no like graduated scale. Oh, I would, but you know, not as much as that other guy. It's like, what's the point? I don't know. I don't get it. So anyways, I always wish it was a yes or no. So but I have done like 3 stars just because I don't want to totally just ruin somebody's rating if I don't want them to be in my car again. Or I've rated 1 star. I've rated 1 star 4 times or 3 times. Let me see if I can remember all 3 times. I can't remember all 3 times. One was this lady that bitched me out. One was this lady that was really high maintenance, and I was just like, and I was in a bad mood, and that was pretty recently. And then once was, this dude that was like really creepy. I think I've told you about it before. He's like saying all that. He was like weird, just like super creepy. So those are my 3 1 stars. And then I've rated people 3 stars a whole bunch of times. And then my main and only pretty much criteria for rating somebody 3 stars or less or 3 stars is when they smell really bad. Like, really bad. I mean, I've had people in my car that have smelled so incredibly bad that I'm just like gagging on the ride. I'm like, and what can you can't say, it's like, you smell bad. They're like, what do you can't really, I don't think you can really say anything. So every time, because especially now, I used to just rate them 3 stars, and every once in a while I'll just rate them 3 stars and just be done with it. But then I would get an email from Lyft saying like, what was the problem? You know, and I was like, so now every time I rate somebody 3 stars, I always put in the comments why I rated them 3 stars. And, you know, like, most often it's because they smelled really bad, so I just say, smelled really bad. Put in there, just like, I mean, so bad that I have to turn off the app and check the seat and be like, and sometimes there's still smell in the seat. So I have Febreze in my trunk. I go grab my Febreze, spray down the thing, but man, so bad. So anyways, those are my questions from you guys this week. Thanks for asking them. If you have any more for me, hit it up. Like I said, let's put it up again. At RideshareZim on Instagram, _Zim at hotmail.com, and the comments on this video. I will answer them in the moment, but I will also, if I like them or whatever they think they're fun to talk about, I'll use them as a chance to talk more on for this video. Alright, so now let's get into the experience part, my personal experience, and the big news. The big news that I teased at the beginning is that I am now signed up for Uber. I have already put the stickers on my car, so I don't have the stickers, but I got the Uber pamphlet stuff. So I'm ready to roll with Uber, and let's just break it down. So first off, I have a question for you, people that have been watching this show or happen to watch this show today. If you are an Uber driver, I haven't yet done any hardcore like research online for YouTube shows or whatever. But what are the differences, if you want to hit up some comments, what is the biggest difference I should like watch out for with the apps? Since I haven't never used the Uber app, like is there some like quirky thing like that's different than the Lyft app, or that I'd be like, since I'm so used to the Lyft app, like what should I not take for granted about the Uber app or something like that? And then the other question is that I have is like the shared ride thing. You know how Lyft, when you have a shared ride and you don't you want to cancel like the one that got added, you have to like go into it deeper. It's like not that obvious how to cancel the ride. Do you know how to cancel the second ride of a shared ride or Uber pool ride? If you want to let me know in the comments, I'd be super thankful for that. So thanks for that. And then any other tips in general about Uber, the app or whatever. Mainly the app. I think Passenger's probably pretty similar. But yeah, so there's that. So I'm kind of excited. I'm excited because this is my plan. This is my plan this week. So for the next at least 2 weeks, maybe more, I'm exclusively going to drive Uber. So I want to get like a kind of a, what is it called? A control group in a sense of like, I've been driving Lyft for so long and I have this strategy and I have this idea and I have this way of driving Lyft. I'm going to just apply that same strategy to Uber for the first week and see how it plays out. I'm hoping it's not incredibly different. Like I'm hoping that people, just the general kind of like what I've found is the highest demand for rides is around the same times. Imagine it should be, but who knows? But I'm going to feel it out for the first week, get used to the app, just different things like that. And I think I got like my kind of ride incentive right now for signing up is like I'm guaranteed $2,100 for the first 300 rides, which I'm kind of hoping I can accomplish in 2 weeks on the same 5-day work schedule, because this is everybody says there's more rides for Uber. So I do 123 rides a week with Lyft right now, and everybody that I talk to says there's more demand for Uber. So is there 27 more rides available per week in that Friday through Sunday zone that I typically work, so that I can do 300 rides in the first 2 weeks? Is there? I don't know. I'm going to find out. I'll let you know how it goes. But I just want to get that guarantee, so I know at least. So then I can do a couple things. I can go like, okay, so that's what I can expect. Like without the guarantee, I can look at what I'm making, so I can get an idea of like if I decide to continue just driving straight Uber for a while, I know what I can make. But at least I have that guarantee of making what I've been making already, because I basically make $1,000 a week right now. So yeah, so that's kind of my goal around that. And then in maybe 2 weeks or 3 weeks, I'm going to try what I've been talking about in the past videos about doing like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday only, working both apps and seeing like what the question was earlier about doing 12-hour days. Well, I just do like just like focus all my energy just on the weekend and just crank it. Just work from like 7 a.m. to midnight every day, taking my breaks, doing my thing, and with both apps, and seeing what happens, and seeing if I could possibly pull $300 per day. If I could pull $300 per day working both apps and doing, like, it would be a significant day, like I said, but like that would be enough. You know, that would be, I'd feel good about it. But I don't know. I tried it with Lyft only, and I wasn't even able. I wasn't able to get 300. It's just so hard to stay in the car that long per day, even though it's a shorter week. It's just so hard. So, anyways, unless it's cooking, unless I'm like making the money. Have you noticed that when you're in there and there's like rides and rides and you're making the money, you're working, you're doing it, that your sustainability, it goes way up. But when it's like you're waiting and you're trying, it's like oops. But anyways, that's what it's like. So anyways, and then just this whole Uber Lyft thing. There's one piece of the kind of puzzle that I'm worried about a little bit, but we're just gonna have to see. I'm gonna have to take the leap of faith on it, and it's the bonus or ride challenge incentives, I like to say, on Lyft. So if I stop driving Lyft, what are they gonna do with my ride challenge incentive? Like if in a month from now I decide to drive Lyft exclusively again, because without that ride challenge incentive, it's just not worth it. It's totally not worth it to be a full-time driver and not make that ride challenge incentive. So it'll be interesting with Lyft anyway. It'll be interesting to see if they, because I've heard, I've got comments on this video, I've got comments on my Instagram. I've heard a lot of people say I don't get an incentive, I don't get a ride challenge bonus and all that kind of stuff, and it's like, well, and I think it's mainly because they don't do enough. The volume of rides they don't do enough. That Lyft they just don't worry about it. They're just like, whatever. But the more rides you do, the more chance you have to getting an incentive, and just different. And the incentives are higher. Like mine are pretty high. Different things like that. So that's that. So anyways, that's kind of the latest. I can't think of anything else. I'll keep you posted on the Uber part of things. But I also did want to mention my surface level experience so far between the two customer service aspects of the two companies. And I must say, honestly, at this point, and I can't tell totally if it's just because I'm so like jaded and kind of frustrated with Lyft's customer service or not, or what, but I've been more impressed with Uber's customer service. And I know a lot of people had that opposite impression, and maybe maybe it's because I haven't had anything that needs to get fixed totally. I don't know, but I take it back. Actually, I take it back. There's elements of the differences. Okay, so let me break this down a little bit more. This is going to be kind of a rambly episode today, I've noticed. So why wasn't I signed up for Uber for so long? You've been hearing me talk about it. I was having trouble with getting signed up. They wanted me to go down to the actual physical place and figure it out there, and I was like, I don't want to go down. If I could just do it all on the phone, on the app, on email, I want to just get it done. So I ended up calling Uber, and it was definitely like outsourced calling, like a heavy accent and like that kind of thing. And it was not overly helpful. But what I gleaned from the whole thing was the fact that I was actually signed up for Uber Eats, which wasn't what I was trying to do. So that was messing things up. It was all messed up. So basically what I got them to do is erase my account. They totally took my account out. I started from scratch, and so I got things going, and I had to go get my car inspected, and that was at the place where it's like the office for Uber anyway. So regardless, I had to go to the place anyway. So I went and got my car inspected, and that time I went and talked to somebody. So the experience of the people, the actual in-person people, I felt a noticeably more chill. Like their manner was just so much more like, yeah, we'll get it worked out. It was like way more chill at Uber. The Lyft people I've worked with have always had this frenetic, like trying too hard to make, we're so happy to be with, let's do it. But also but this underlying like, be quiet, I'm talking kind of attitude at the same time. So it's like, I don't know. There's definitely a culture difference. The Uber feels more like a tech, like this, what you'd see, what the kind of stereotypical, like, we're a tech startup kind of vibe. Lyft has this more like, I don't know, community service kind of vibe, I guess. I don't know the best way I could put it, but anyways. So those are some of my initial impressions of just the human interaction. Not so much, I guess the online interaction has been about equal. They're both kind of unhelpful. But the human interaction, there's been a noticeable different vibe. So anyways, I'll keep you posted on that. Because after all, this is a Rideshare experience. This is going to be a long freaking video. Two last things. The first one is, I wanted to show you, can you see this? I don't know if you can see this. Right, this is my shoe. And this is like where I sit, my gas pedal shoe. And it's like worn out. I'm about due for another pair because these are starting to get brown instead of they're supposed to be black. But they get kind of weirdly brown. I think you can kind of tell it's a little browner than my shirt. But yeah, but it's just, I just find that hilarious that I drive enough to wear out. I mean, it's all the way worn out into the fabric of the heel as well, just the way my foot fits on the thing. So that's a fun little thing. Okay, so I was talking earlier too about reading and what I do these days. So I just wanted to give a little like plug for this, not only a plug for this book, but kind of break down how I've been doing my job. So it's Patrick Rothfuss. It's The Name of the Wind. Really good. Not like my favorite book of all time, but really enjoyable. Really enjoyable. So what I've been doing when I've been tweaking my strategy or my just kind of mode a little bit the last while since reading this book is like when I go to University Heights, like I was talking about earlier in the video, I pull over and it's pretty much always reading these days, and I just pull my book, wait for the ride, do the thing. And then I also, when I get to the location of the person, if it's a regular Lyft, you know, they have 5-minute countdown, I don't even look for the person anymore. I just pull over, put my hazards on, sit there, grab my book, and read a few paragraphs while I'm waiting for the... And then once I hear the handle, once they open the door, that's when sometimes I can see them out of my peripheral vision. So I usually have, it's nighttime, I have my dome light on, and I just kind of click it off, and then put my book back down, and then have them get in the car. So that's that. Last thing. This is my last thing. I have 2 minutes. God, this is going to be a long video. I had an instance this week, so again, experience instance. You know, like I tell you, I pull over. I don't pull out of the street. I pull over like on the side of the street, and most of the streets in San Diego that are side streets are wide enough for people to get around, no problem, not like blocking traffic. But I'd had a neighborhood person come pull in behind me and just give me a really hard time about the fact that I was pulled over and things like that. And he had this impression that I whipped around or whipped into place. I don't know what that meant totally. He maybe thought I was driving too fast, but just, it really like, oh God, I had one of those moments where I really wanted to be like, you know, just give him the finger, but I was just like, get out of my face, you know, like, but I managed through it, but it just put me in this kind of like, mode. Like, I wish I would have been a little calmer so I could have been more like, a little bit more like, I don't know. He said, you just whipped around here, and I was like, I didn't whip around, I don't know, I just kind of got flustered. I don't know why I'm telling you this, but it's just part of my experience. This is like, some people just feel like they know what's best for I don't know, maybe I was in the wrong, but I don't know. I do this, obviously done 11,000 rides, and that's the first time somebody's gotten out of their car, I believe, and tried to be like, you are in the wrong spot. So anyways, people. Okay, so anyways, thanks a lot for watching. If you want to help me out, check out my podcast. It's Creative Mind, it's called. I've added a new title to it as well. It's called The Crazy Ass Podcast. So it's Creative Mind, The Crazy Ass Podcast by the Zim. And it's a daily kind of journaling of my life and what's going on. So check it out. It's I love it. It's fun. I love it. I love it. Alright, till next week, be excellent to each other. May your rides be long and your tips be big.